Today's writing hack is an easy way to introduce technical terms to non-technical readers when you have a mixed audience. Typically in a mixed audience, you have an executive decision maker and you have a technical expert whom the decision maker relies on for input because they don't understand the subject matter themselves. What we need to remember is that the executive decision maker is the person who has the power to sign off on your document, so they are in fact your primary, your most important audience. The technical expert is actually your secondary audience. Now, when we think about using technical terms in a document that has this kind of mixed audience, our go-to is often a glossary. But here's the thing. For your executive decision maker, who is your primary, your most important audience, a glossary is actually a lot of work. Asking them to use a glossary can feel like asking them to flip back and forth through a thick dictionary. Way too much effort for a busy executive. Here is a quick alternative when you are dealing with a technical term that is pretty straightforward and easy to explain, and also a technical term that isn't, we might say, of critical importance. In other words, maybe one of those cases where the executive doesn't actually have to master the technical term in order to understand the document and ultimately approve it. Remember, our goal is to write with the decision maker or our primary audience in mind. Aha! See what I just did here? I introduced you to that new technical term, primary audience. But I did that by first mentioning the familiar term, decision maker. We all know what that means. And now that I have introduced it, you also know what primary audience means. So I've put that just in a tiny little set of parentheses here. Doesn't take up a lot of room, and you can gloss right over it if that's a term that really doesn't have a lot of value for you, or maybe it's so unfamiliar that it really was hard for you to understand. So if you are a non-expert reader, unfamiliar with the term primary audience, this sentence is easy for you to understand. At the same time, if you are somebody who's an expert on writing and you already know that term, I've inserted that term there so it's clear that, yes, I know how to speak the technical language and I am using this very precise term for you. So everybody's happy and the executive reader doesn't have to do a lot of flipping back and forth to a glossary. Here's a more technical example. Once the solid has changed directly into the gas, or in other words, for you technical experts, it has sublimated, the refining process can begin. So again, our non-expert sees very clearly what's going on, but our expert audience also has that technical term, so they also understand in their own language, and more importantly, they see as well that the writer here has the necessary expertise. You can remember this principle as well every time you introduce an acronym. So here, the single point of contact, or the POC for the project, will be Charlene Brown. Okay. So I hope that this hack is something that you can put into use this week. Remember that your ultimate goal is for your technical expert to trust you. You want them to say, gee, these people know their stuff. They write with precision. I trust them. But your primary goal is to get your document understood and approved. So what you want your executive to feel as they read that document is, I understand what needs to be done. And more importantly, let's do it.